nearly 19 of their own. Those are some squads to look out for. FaZe, though, is it too little, too late?
I don't think so, no. For FaZe, they're looking pretty decently well as far as I'm concerned. They do drop down
They're at
to
135 points, right?
They are at 135, but they've got 2 more games, and something tells me that they are going to move up. I mean, CT Gaming kind of been hit and miss. Movie Star Koi challenging Ahsoka, dropping the ball early on. I'm just not feeling it for FaZe Clan. I think they are going to be okay, even though it looks scary at the moment.
And, of course, we had to keep our eyes on Movie Star. They got shut down. They tried to go after the Falcons. Don't do that with the remaining 2 drops, right?
No, definitely don't. You just need to try to put yourself in a spot to get a high placement with solid kills, and there is still obviously a window to crack right above that Gentlemate's position at 156. So, yeah, you're looking for 20 points or so for both FaZe and Movie Star Koi. Definitely doable in the next 2 drops. I think it just comes down to the other teams between them and Gentlemates like CT Gaming.
Okay, Ellen, before we get into this next one, I wanted to ask you about buys. That's the one thing we don't really see from the Codcaster perspective. What are they purchasing? Everyone's using UAVs, right? But what else do you purchase as the game goes on and you rack up more money?
Well, especially for those late game moments, we heard, I think, a player call it out, streaks, right?
Yep.
End game moments, precisions,
in.
Obviously cluster strikes, maybe a self-revive, because you never know in those late game moments how that can, maybe help you in a heal off, right? Which we saw Sage yesterday. So when it comes to buying, or of course your teammate, cash is king. As far as Falcons, right? They always have cash, and that's what some of these teams are trying to replicate.
Look out for bombs from the sky. We have 2 more games coming in live from the Kadia Arena as we send it back over to the casters.
Alrighty, well, a great breakdown of another great game from the Falcons, but I gotta say, that leaderboard looks scary for some of these teams. We still have a total of 5 teams that are done for the day inside the top 7s, but there were some shuffling around there. Twisted Minds have breached into the top 7. Good on them, a big map from them. The rest of this leaderboard still insanely tight with FaZe, just kind of getting into striking distance. Not done yet. They gotta do it again, probably 2 more times.
So what FaZe did there, Thieves did not, right? I mean, we've seen Thieves really have a miserable time there, barely getting a point to their name. And that puts them even further into the conversation. Yes, okay, they're sitting towards the top side of our remaining teams right now. We'll flick through that leaderboard as time does go on. There are only 2 games remaining to see who is going to manage to make it. Gentlemates, for me, are done. They will undoubtedly get surpassed. But you look at it in a circle, Team Vision, they will be counting on someone like Gamax, Fnatic, Leviathan to actually have a good game. They need some teams like that towards that bottom side to come out and have a stormer if they want a chance to stay in right now, because the points are only going in one direction, and that's the teams who are just outside the top 7.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, it must be an ego play. The Falcons want to be the top of all group stages. They still have to take down Virtus Pro with about 29 or so points combined in the next 2 games. Well within reach for that team that just dropped well over 30 points with that win. But because the Falcons are maybe playing for a group stage win, they are soaking up a lot of points that some of these other teams need. So I don't know if the slaying power from the Falcons is helping teams or hurting them, but we only have 2 more maps to find out here, Ton, and we are dropping into our penultimate map of the day.
Well, here we go. We're going to be starting to make another hefty circle over towards bioweapons, chemical engineering. It's cutting off headquarters, factory, living quarters, stronghold, and control, about half of it. This is a heavy northeast map. Gentlemates would probably be screaming for something like this right now. Unfortunately for them, they've got to sit and watch to see if they could somehow survive. I just don't feel like it's going to happen. But we're into the game. Teams go into their regular spots for the most part. Big fights over prison, though, and that's going to be a nice one for a lot of teams to keep an eye out on. But for the side of Falcons, it's going to be a farm up, see what they can do to Stronghold to start making the move shot.
Yeah, as we watch Rock Esports, see where they are on the leaderboard. They're in 8th currently, but only a point behind Gentlemates, who are done. So Rock Esports most likely making it inside the top 7, pinning the teams behind them. Watch out for some of those fights. Now, a big shift here, 100 Thieves. This is the story. 100 Thieves has been struggling. What do they do when they see an extremely northeastern zone? They drop Bio, completely shifting this map on its head, and said, fine, Imkoi, you've kind of chalked your own game. You've also chalked ours. We don't want to deal with the Falcons. We're playing opposite side of the map.
And the team they're going up against is a team who've been here for what feels like the majority of the day in Fnatic. They are a team who've struggled over the entirety, let's be honest, and they've struggled over towards bioweapons. It has not necessarily been a good playground for them, and now they have got a team like 100 Thieves to try and deal with. It is a tall order to see what Fnatic can do.
Yeah, the other shift, by the way, it happened last map as well. You were wondering probably where FaZe was landing. Chemical is wide open, so FaZe has landed at Chemical. They will likely be the first team that interacts with that Fnatic and 100 Thieves fight up in Bio if FaZe decides to leave. However, this zone won't necessarily pull to the submarine like it did last time we saw this one. It could pull to the Kim side. I bet they stay patient while we watch this fight here in prison.
There we go. Twisted Minds get themselves inside of prison pretty early. You can already see one player already drop back. Making sure that this aggression isn't going to be, well, necessarily punished too much. But here we go. Padzuka, can he find much? Yeah, he's already found 2 kills to his name. But these will find the break. Fnatic Sanka sticking over towards the sub, and we'll keep things going here. But yeah, getting interested on not just Fnatic, but FaZe Clan, who have come to join the party.
I thought they for sure would be patient, but I guess when you look at the leaderboard, you know you can't be. You got to get active. 100 Thieves, a team ahead of you on the leaderboard. Yeah. You're sending 2 out, and they're right. There is no one over at Kim. They can keep their anchor over there. This is reminiscent of the Falcons' play style. Keep one slow, send the other 2 out. J-Tech picking up several, and now Blast on the run.
Blast alive momentarily. Should be pretty short here if he can continue to survive. Falls and wipes. Falls and wipe. Let's see, did anybody actually spawn up on the map for team number 8? I'm looking. I can't see a goddamn thing. 100 Thieves out. Another miserable game. They are in big trouble.
I thought it was such a good play to come up here, and I think it was. Fighting Fnatic, who are now getting wiped by FaZe. FaZe is flipping this map on its head. FaZe has gotten risky, and it is paying off. They flipped the coin, it landed heads, and now they're on top. This is unreal.
Those kills coming in against 100 Thieves are worth their weight in gold. That wipes an opposition out. Thieves are outside of the top 7, will still be outside of the top 7, and FaZe Clan can close that gap a significant amount. Fight starting to go on, of course, over towards the other side of the map. Living Quarters is going to start to get a little bit mixy here, actually. 30 seconds, the circle is closing. There are 3 or 4 different teams still outside the circle.
Again, northeastern zone. That means the Falcons get on the move very quickly. All 3 of the Falcons, by the way. This is the zone that they struggled with, the only map that the Falcons have struggled with, and they might struggle again, especially getting pinched here for Twisted Minds. Z-Smith's going to come down from on high. They're going to try to wipe this entire team if they can get a handle on him. Question is, have they found out where Shifty is deep inside the zone? Could he sneak in late and potentially play spoiler? I doubt it.
Shifty's the last one momentarily. Biffle will find himself coming back up. They did find Hisoka. Shifty now can get a little bit active. Can he find anything on the way out? Armor will be first to drop. Smith will be there for the trades, but the reach out comes through. You manage to get yourselves back up and running if you're Falcons, if only just by the hair on your chin. But look at what's going on over towards this side as well. Teams fighting all across the top of prison. Top of the prison now belongs to EVOS Esports.
EVOS getting a little mixy here in the last 3 games. They say, don't worry, you might see us in LCQs, but we're going to go out with a bang regardless of this leaderboard. By the way, off screen, what you missed, Rock Esports, also one of the teams that are out. Of course, they were in a pretty good position on the leaderboard, but dropping a map like this, 100 Thieves dropping a map like this, there is still a lot of breathing room going into this last map. This leaderboard is going to be wide open going into the final.